Welcome back to the South African Morning. Let's take you to a story all of 5 years ago and counting. It is the Life Esidimeni tragedy. 144 mentally ill patients losing their lives after being moved from care clinics to non-authorized NGOs. That tragedy has not gone away, still lived every single day by their families and their loved ones. Life Esidimeni Family Committee, a member of that, Christine Nxumalo, joining us now. Christine, good morning to you. It's 5 years later, some are saying even 6 years later, since you began this nightmare. Justice denied in this case, and justice delayed is certainly what you're living with. How is everyone feeling ahead of this big day today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Everybody's nervous. Everybody's anxious. Yes, it's been many years, but we are happy that we are at this point.
All these years later, we're still seeing reports that many of those who were in charge, I beg to call them authorities at the time, some of them still involved at the highest levels of health care. How does that make you and the families feel?
We just have to grin and bear it. It's very painful. It's very, it's, life for them has been normal. And for the rest of us, not so much.
When we talk about this inquest, Christine, what are we hoping to get out of this? Obviously, you and I having this conversation, it's important we don't forget this tragedy. I'm looking now, I know you can't see it, I'm looking at visuals of the testimony given. What are you hoping South Africa does today as we bring this back to the attention of everyone watching?
I think for us the key, I suppose if I had to choose a word, it would be accountability. For us, what we're hoping for to come out of this inquest is for the evidence to directly link to individuals, which ultimately will mean that people can be charged and ultimately end up in jail. That's what we as families are hoping for.
Who are those individuals? If we were to put forward those names, I mean, I mentioned now just some of the people who were in positions of authority back then. The one name that stands out for me is Dr. Barney Silabano. How do you feel? How does the families feel when you hear those kind of names?
I'm actually literally, I think my body has just, when I hear the names, I literally just, there's a mute process that happens. Because each name evokes emotions, and also I think for me what makes it even more painful is that they were given opportunities to tell the truth and they chose not to tell the truth. And that for me just tells me of the character of the people that were in charge.
One of those people in charge, the former MEC for Health in the province, in Gauteng, Mahlangu, a name that I'm sure none of the families, South Africa, is certainly not going to forget. What would you tell Kwedani if you got face-to-face with her?
Imagine this happened to one of yours. Imagine this happened to one of yours. How would you have reacted? How would you have wanted this to have been handled? And what would you have wanted those who were in charge to have gone?
I can't help but imagine, Christine, just before I say goodbye to you, that today, with this inquest getting underway, you're thinking of the loved ones that you lost. Who was that? Tell me their name.
My sister, Virginia Makape, my big sister.
How do you remember her?
She was my rock. She was my everything. She was my big sister. She helped me raise. She raised me basically after my mom died. She was everything to me.
Hopefully today we start to get some of those answers. Incredibly brave to speak to us. Christine, I'm going to say thank you. It's been once again brought to the attention of not just our viewers but South Africa as well. I know how difficult this was. Christine Nxumalo, Life Esidimeni Family Committee. We'll be watching the story closely, Christine, and hopefully you and I will speak again in the not too distant future.